Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of New Music Finds. This is one of my favorite ones where I get to go through all the stuff that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. And for me at least, I love kind of holding out and hanging on to those new things that just came in. And that's sort of what this is. This is gathering all that stuff up and going through it with you. And I get it from different places like my local record stores, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. I've got 10 items to go through with you. If you tuned in for New Music Now, then you know that was only 3 items, so there are 7 more items here for you guys to tune into. That's why it's always good to tune into both of these episodes here. And we're going to do that in just a minute. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help. Of course, if you turn on notifications, then you're going to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the world of music, just like this. So let's go ahead and dive into this, and I like to kick it off with new releases. There were 2 of them for this past week, September 23rd. First one up was a big one for me, Billy Idol and his new EP, The Cage. Only's got 4 songs on it though, unfortunately. I wish there was a lot more, but it is still great to get brand new Billy Idol. If you're a fan of Steve Stevens, he's in tow on here. And there's the inside of that. You get a booklet on one side and the CD on the other side of it there. Kind of fun picture there of Billy doing his thing. The music, I will say, on this particular disc though is not as straightforward Billy Idol as you would expect. He's definitely branching out and trying a few new things on this, which is kind of cool, but it definitely has the Billy Idol sound, so don't let that scare you off from it. But the last EP for me was straight up Billy Idol style stuff. I loved it. It was fantastic. This one here is trying a little bit of different stuff. There's supposed to be a 3rd EP, so we'll have to see which way he goes when that comes around. Now the next one on here, while maybe not a big artist, was something that I was super excited about, really anticipating, and finally came out. The brand new Talas album. First one in over 30 years for these guys. If you don't recognize the Talas name, that is okay, but you will recognize their bass player, Billy Sheehan of Mr. Big, and of course, David Lee Roth's band. And if you think you don't know a Talas song, but you know David Lee Roth, then the David Lee Roth song that he had a hit with, Shy Boy, was written by Billy Sheehan and was a Talas song that he brought to the band. So that's back, going way back, that was on a Talas album redone for David Lee Roth. So anyways, a little bit of the history there, and now you know a little bit more about Talas. The album itself is called 1985. And not entirely sure if all the guys, I don't think all the guys are the original ones from there. I think we got a couple new guys there, and just Billy, maybe the drummer. I haven't done my homework yet, which I need to do certainly on this. But if you're a Billy Sheehan fan and you love all that bass playing that he does, he essentially is a bass shredder. Same way that we've got guitar players that shred and whatnot. Billy Sheehan is amazing like that. So if you're into like the Winery Dogs that he does, Mr. Big, I think you'll enjoy Talas and should definitely check that out. Unfortunately, the band's singer Phil Naro passed away just after completing the album. So it's sort of a bittersweet thing where we're getting this brand new Talas album, but Phil Naro has passed away. So if the band is to continue, they're going to need to get a new lead vocalist. All right, next one here is kind of newish, but it is a fan club only release. New Pearl Jam Gigaton Tour edition of the album. And so if you saw the New Music Now, I was taking a look at it because I just gotten it, but I didn't know enough about it. And all I saw were the track listing that is from the Gigaton album. Came out in 2020. And what it turned out is all of these songs have been performed live. They collected them together on here for this version of the album. They're in a different track listing and sequence, so that's really cool there. It is all of the songs except one, Comes Then Goes. That one is not on the album. Don't know if they just didn't perform it live. Maybe they didn't have a good version of it. But this is all the songs from Gigaton without that on here. And I always felt this album here was pretty raw, almost like it was a bunch of demos. It just didn't seem to have very good production. The songs themselves have really grown on me, and I like the songs, but I still think the production on here could have been a lot better. So now, hearing it live, I will say that the quality of it has stepped up. It comes across a lot better live than it does as a studio album, in my opinion. Definitely enjoying these songs much more as that live, and that's pretty rare for me. As you guys, a lot of you know, I am not a big live album fan. which begs the question about this next one I'm going to show you. Kiss, off the soundboard. It's one of their official bootleg series. It's Donington 1996. Haven't opened it just yet, but I picked it up. Mentioned during the New Music Now that I've been into a lot of Kiss stuff. I've taken a little bit of a side tangent due to some other stuff that I got, but I'm going to be digging back into this. August 17th, 1996, Monsters of Rock. Back when it was called the Monsters of Rock, still live at Donington instead of this Download Festival crap. I still always think of it as, live at Donington or Monsters of Rock. But cool live album there, so definitely going to enjoy that. From that, I went to Factory Records again. I went there previous week and had such a good time there going with my good friend Joe. He said, hey, I want to run out there again. And I was like, absolutely. Because as you always go, you see things, you opt not to pick it up, then you wish you did. I was able to turn right around. One of the albums that I wished I had picked up but didn't pick up was this one here by Icehouse, Measure for Measure. I think this one here is a 1986 release. I had picked up their album called Man of Colors. It was their biggest release. I want to say that one might have been like 84 or something. But I saw this one and I didn't know if I was going to enjoy Icehouse or not. So I only picked up the one release. And then I just fell in love with that album. And I was like, I really wish I had more Icehouse. I went online. The stuff is very expensive. It's all out of print. And I was like, man, I really should have picked that up. So I've been sort of kicking myself all week, but I went back out and I got it. Then when I was there, I was sort of like, well, I was just through all the CDs a week ago. There's probably not a lot of change. I don't need to go through it again. But of course, I had to go through it. And I'm really glad I did because I found 2 additional Icehouse albums in there. Self-titled release and one called Love in Motion. I haven't tuned into those just yet to know how much I like, don't like, but I was listening to this one. I'm very glad that I've got it. I really like the other one, Man of Colors, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be enjoying this one. I did check this one out stream-wise before picking it up. Can't help myself, the second track on here, really, really liked that one, so I know I'm going to dig them. But definitely enjoying that stuff, so that was pretty cool. There was a 4th Icehouse that was there, but unfortunately the packaging on it had some water damage, so I opted not to pick it up because they wanted $15 for it. And as much as I wanted an instant Icehouse collection, you go in one fell swoop, you buy the whole thing, you're done, kind of a thing, I opted to wait on that. I'm pretty particular about my quality of my packagings and all that sort of stuff, so holding off on that one there. But one that I came across that I had also seen last time but didn't know too much about, still don't, but decided to give it a whirl because when I look up bands like Icehouse and other new wave groups that are around that same time frame, this group, Ultravox, keeps coming up. And so I decided to give them a listen while I was there and really enjoyed this album, Rage in Eden. And again, don't know anything about this band other than their name keeps coming up. And reference, I listened to the first 2 or 3 tracks on here. Really enjoyed it. In particular, the song The Voice really was good. So I don't know what is any big hit by this band. This album was 1981. And been listening to that one more because that was the newest thing to me since getting home from the store. And I probably now I'm going to go dig up a bunch more Ultravox, having enjoyed that. And there was one additional Ultravox album that I didn't pick up when I was at Factory Records, so maybe next week when I go back I'll be picking that one up. But I also went through the vinyl section while I was there, and the previous time I went through it and I had gone through all of the miscellaneous, looking for the stuff, the one-off albums that, not well-known type bands that don't get the place cards, kind of a thing. But I thought, you know what? Let's go through all the place cards, all the ones that have sections, and see what I find. And I found Missing Persons, Rhyme and Reason. So I recently picked up Spring Session M and absolutely love that album. Then I found out that the band contained the guitar player Warren Cucurullo. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but he went on to play with Duran Duran. So everything just kind of kept getting better and better and better about Missing Persons. And since their stuff is all out of print and very hard to come by, went ahead and picked it up on vinyl. Going to enjoy that for a while until I find a CD edition. I am still a CD fan, but branching out a bit, you know, I was able to get The Missing Persons for $6.99 on vinyl. Very good copy of it. Less than a used CD, especially an out-of-print one. So I can enjoy that for a while I wait to find the CD edition. Not really thinking about it or anticipating anything along these lines, but I found this. Hooters, Amore, debut album from these guys, recorded in 1983. Most of these tracks would turn up in a re-recorded fashion in 1985 on their follow-up album, Nervous Night, which would be their debut album in the US. I don't believe this one got a US release. And I only recently just found out about it because I was streaming them, and this album was available to stream, and I was like, what the heck is that? Come to find out they had an album out in 83. So, song Amore, I don't believe turned up on any future albums. But I do know that Hanging on a Heartbeat and Blood from a Stone, All You Zombies, those would later turn up on Nervous Night. But it's cool hearing them in an alternate fashion. And so this, because I can't get it on CD, is the absolute reason why I still collect vinyl, to have records like that. That's just the only way to get them, is to have them on vinyl. I can't get them on CD, that sort of stuff. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, if that ever got a CD issue, but I don't think it did. Or if it did, it's super rare and hard to find kind of a thing, and that's why I haven't been able to get one. But there you go. That's a bunch of the new music. 10 releases there, 2 records, and 8 CDs there for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe gave you, spark of an idea to go out and search some stuff up for you guys. But let me know what new music finds you got and what you're excited about, and we'll go from there. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.